Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Fikri. My metric number is 207532. Today, my group and I will be presenting about our group project for this course, Computer Network and Communication. Nowadays, the advancement of the internet network has happened very rapidly, but we do not know what and how the information of the internet network is observed other than just surfing the internet. Each group will be given the option of selecting network equipment or tool to test and find some network information on two websites, international and local, that have been given and searched by us. The first network tool that we chose was PingTools Network Utilities. This ping test utility is a tool for testing the reachability of a host on an internet protocol network, or what we call an IP network. These tools will be explained further by SYAFIQ. Second one was Intrace, Visual Traceroute, and this tool or apps is used to track or trace the data packet transfer process from users' device to servers all around the world. Further explanation about this tool will be explained by HAZIQ. Next, other than ping and network route, Currports have also been selected to know the protocol and address of a website. This network tool will show a list of all TCP/IP and UDP ports that are currently open to the user's local computer, and IZZUDDIN will expand on this. Then the last tool we chose was IP Tools, IP Geolocation and Network Insights. This tool is used to configure and diagnose network as well as fast obtaining information, including the NS record, and will be explained by ARIF hereafter. Next, we will proceed to the pre-test requirement. We will use three different ISP types that are fixed to all network tools such as Cellcom, Maxis and Digi. Then every group was assigned to find one international website, and our group chose the University of Tokyo's website. After that, we need to access both international and local website, which is FSKTM UPN website, using three different ISP or telco with three different time slots, which are 12 AM, 12 PM and 6 PM. However, we were unable to access only one place since each group member's location was separated and scattered due to ODL and our country still locked down, while accessing the website should be done in one place to get more accurate and relevant results. To guarantee that adequate data is evaluated and discussed, each test will be conducted for 1 hour straight for each of 3 time slots which have been selected.
Okay, my name is MOHAMMED ADIMUN with metric number 207093. Okay, I want to explain about our first network tool, which is the PingTools Network Utility. Okay, Ping is a command line utility available on virtual and operating system with network connectivity that acts as the test to see if a network device is reachable. The ping command sends a request over the network to a specific device. Successful pings result in a response from the computer that was pinged back to the originating computer. The time taken to a packet from the sender to the receiver and from the receiver back to the sender is called round trip time, which is calculated in milliseconds. Okay, this time also we call as execution time. Okay, this tools app only available on Android. How to use it? First, we open the PingTools apps and click over the menu button on the top left corner and choose the ping button and enter the domain name or IP address of the website that you want to test, and press ping button and see the result. This is the layout of installation and the menu interface of the ping tool, and this is the ping test layout, which is the result. Relation to the course content, we learn about the access control and flow control and error control from the data link layer topic, which describe the flow of movement of the packets between the sender and receiver in a timeline. We also learn about the corrupted and packet loss. So this is a thing that we can relate of the ping test that we want to do. Okay, this is the report of the PingTools. PingTools is mainly shows a private public IP address, download and upload speed graph, and also all this stuff here. So for the testing purpose, I just want to highlight about the packet sent and received, percentage packet loss, total execution time, minimum and maximum execution time, and average execution time. Okay, this is the result and the discussion of ping test that we have done of the local website FSKTM UPM. with domain name fsktm.epm.edu.my. So for this testing, we will use 3 parameters: total execution time, MDEV, and also the average execution time. So for this testing, we will test 3 different ISP, Digi, Cellcom, and Maxis, to access the same website, which is the FSKTM website, within 3 slot time. So for this first slot time, we will test the 12 AM. So for this slot time, we can see the value of all this value. You can see the value here are in lowest value from the other. So okay, we will proceed to the next slide. You can see this time slot for 12 PM and also the 6 PM time slot. So for this time slot, for the 12 PM time slot, you can see the value here. So for this value, we can see the highest value that we get from the previous one, the 12 AM. So we move to the 6 PM time slot. You can see the value right here is lower than the above 12 PM. So you can see the difference between each time slot. So we move to the next slide. Okay, for this slide, we will see the discussion about the local websites of all the data and parameters. So for the first is total execution time, MDEV, and also the average execution time, aka the ping time. So for all of this, we will just highlight about the average execution time, which is known as the ping time. Since the average execution time is the most important thing to know about the ping. Based on the data that we got, the increasing order in ping time or average execution time is 12 AM followed by the 6 PM and followed by the 12 PM, which is the 12 PM is the highest among the others. Moving to the next slide, we can see the result in the discussion about the ping test of international website is which University of Tokyo with domain name u/tokyo.sc.jp. So for this time slot, for this time we can use all the same parameters, and the detail about this is also the same. So for the 12 AM, we can see all the data here, which the value of the all the parameters are are very high. So we move to the next slide, which 12 PM and also the 6 PM. So for the 12 PM, we can see all the data here are quite high, but lower than before. So for the 6 PM time slot, we can see all the value are very low than the others too. So for this next slide, we can see the discussion about the international website. So the total execution, MDEV, and also the average execution time are also very similar to the previous one. But for this time, we like before, we will highlight also just the average execution time, since it's the most important parameter of this testing. So based on the data that we got, the majority of the time, the increasing order in ping time is 6 PM followed by the 12 PM followed by the 12 AM, which 12 AM is the highest value of the execution time. So we can see the order in ping time of website FSKTM, also the website Tokyo, University of Tokyo, are different, since they both have 2 different country and 2 different timeline in their country. Okay, that's from me.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. My name is HAZIQ bin Muhammad RAZIF. My matrix number is 207029. Okay, so my part is on the application called Intrace Visual Traceroute. Its function or purpose is to trace the process of transferring data from your Android device on servers located around the world. By simply inputting a website, a domain, or its IP address, you may determine the path of data packets between your device and any internet servers. All the necessary information will be in the following format: IP servers, host name, ping to server, and lastly, location of the server, specifically its coordinates on the world map. Okay, for the requirement and installation, this app is only available on Android and requires Android 4.1 and above. To install the app, you need to open the Google Play Store on your Android device and then search for Intrace Visual Traceroute. Press the one that is developed by TDM and then just press install. When you open the app, this will be the first interface you see. This can be counted as the menu interface as the app does not have any. As you can see on screen now, the app displays the map of the world in a 2D design. On the top right, you can see its advanced interface as it shows update, show log, and clear history. Okay, so what is shown on screen now is the interface for when we want to use the app to track the packet routes. Firstly, we press the magnifying glass icon and type the website address or IP address of choice. For this example, we will be using the IP address 118.101.0.216 as an example. On the second picture, you can see the trace route of the data packets travel from Taman Melawati, which is where I held the test on, travel to Batu Kes, which is the IP address that I have just used. On the third picture, it shows you the tracing information and all the details you need to know. Firstly, we discover that in packet switching networks, routing is the higher level decision making that sends network packets from their origin to their destination via intermediary network nodes using particular packet forwarding methods. Secondly, the passage of network packets from one network interface to another is referred to as packet forwarding. Thirdly, this tool makes it simple to detect any data path. Next, it contains information on the machines and servers that your data is routed through. And lastly, the visual trace route not only shows the route, but also the process of passing on the map. In other words, it displays the server addresses as well as their location. All the details that are included on this app are the IP servers, the host name, the PingTools server, and the location of the server, which includes the coordinates on the world map. Alright, as for the first part of the result and discussion, we will be using FSKTM UPM's website as the local website of choice. The website address is as shown on screen, colored in blue and underlined. The result shown on screen was taken during night time, which is approximately 12 in the morning. The table on the left shows the parameters used from the network tool, and it includes the trace route, ping, and the time to live or TTL. The right side of the table shows the info. Firstly, the trace route describes the path of the packets from the host to the FSKTM website. The trace route is from Taman Melawati to Wang Sumaju to Kuala Lumpur to Putrajaya and ends at Sedang. The trace route varies on where the host is located. Since this test is being held at my house, which is located in Taman Melawati, therefore the trace route begins at Taman Melawati. Secondly, the ping. Ping is the length of time it takes to send a small data set from your device to an internet server and back to your device. The ping shown in this example is 16.5 milliseconds. The ping is slow, meaning it is fast. This is due to it being in the middle of the night where there are not a lot of people accessing FSKTM website. Lastly, the time to live or TTL. It is the mechanism which limits the lifespan or lifetime of data in a computer or network. In other words, it is the number of hops a packet is permitted to travel inside a network before being refused by a router. The TTL in this case is 249. As for the international website, the trace route is from the host, which is again from Taman Melawati and ends at University of Tokyo's website. To be exact, it goes from Taman Melawati to Wang Sumaju, to Sugamo, to Shiodome, to Shinanomachi and ends at somewhere in Kanda, which is located in Japan. The data shown is also recorded during 12 in the morning. As for the ping, it is 102 milliseconds. The reason why the ping is slightly higher than the one compared to the local website, FSKTM, is because it is located in Japan, whereas FSKTM is located in Sedang, inside of Malaysia. Even though it is high, but it can even go higher if the test is held at 12 PM, for example. Lastly, the TTL is in this case is only 53. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IZZUDDIN from HASHIM. Matrix number 207579. I will be presenting to you our third network utility, which is Currports. Currports is a network monitoring software that displays the list of all currently open TCP or UDP ports on one's local computer. Now, which the lists shown through the main display are by the forms of multiple columns. Now, each column represent different process of different softwares that are operating live in the PC. Now for each port, right, for each port in the list, information about the process that opened the port is also displayed, including process, full path, version information, and the time was created, and also the user that created it. And another cool feature that Currports have is that it allows users to close unwanted TCP connections. This also allows easy management on which process that is wanted to be observed, and also they can eliminate the process that are opened by ports, and also save the ports that information to an HTML file, and or maybe an XML file, or to a tab delimited text file, whichever goes, which also eases management. Next, I will go over the requirements and installation details. Due to the fact that Currports utility is a standalone executable software, it doesn't really require any installation process on which the additional DLLs. One can simply just copy the executable file, which it is usually named cports.exe, to any folder they like and run it, just like that. And the rest of the process is the typical installation process. It is almost compatible with any versions of Windows, starting from the 2000 Windows version to the currently latest Windows 8 or 10. It's also important to note that it is indeed, in fact, free, and only occupies a very small space size. Next, as you can see here, this is the general role of the Currports utility. As you can see there, there's a bit of there's also the port name, and it's also the port address, and so remote and local. Those are the things that we want to see, and then those are the processes, the protocols, the TCP/UDP protocols. Those are the things that we want to observe. Right. Next, we'll go through the relations of using Currports to our project. Now, which we use Currports, right, generally. Used to be as a monitoring tool, solely because it only displays live feeds of info and processes. However, the key info from us using the Currports are as displayed by the slide right here. Observe different aspects from different running programs, and from those columns, right, we were able to monitor the TCP ports of each running program, and etc. Yeah, some of the names that we can see here are some of the things that we observe here, monitor here, are the process name, process ID, the local port name, and you can read the rest, right? Now here's a brief. Next. Now here's a brief report of the Currports. Us as a group decided to continue using Currports via 3 different time slots and 3 ISPs. Now, the main reason for us using Currports is to monitor the protocols, but alongside that, we also hypothesized that 2 factors will make no difference to the end outcome. The 2 factors, which are the time slots and the ISPs. Aside from the remote address, I guess. Aside from the remote address, nothing will be different. Naturally, we had a lot of data to collect, and our hypothesis turned out to be true at the end. Now, for that reason alone, and for the sake of the presentation, I will only be showing you 2 results of our projects, which some of the key information is taken from the display are from the green columns. Next, protocol, TCP. These are the informations from those two that I have just mentioned. As you can see here, the local address are the same, and also the remote address. The only difference is the remote address. Now, as you can see here, the first column, the first results is from the website of Tokyo website, the website that we chose, which was the University of Tokyo website. And the second display here is the FSKTM UPM website, in which, as expected, the remote address, the only different thing is the remote address. Everything else stays the same, right? And as displayed here, we can see that the only difference between the two is the remote address, and the results of using the Currports is the same for both websites regardless of the ISPs or the time slots. The protocols and remote address should be fixed accordingly to the websites we try to reach. Time slots and or ISPs does not affect the outcome of its remote IPO location. So in conclusion, the only variable that differed was the remote IP address, which was to be expected, and since both websites have their own respective IPs, and with both websites using TCP protocols. That is all from me. We'll go through the next presenter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad bin Yusuf and my metric number is 208034. Alright, next we are going to see our fourth network tools, which is IP, geolocation and network insights. Alright, so basically the IP address is an identifier that has been used in every machine, and so the machine which use the internet must have the IP address. So what does it mean by the IP? IP stands for the Internet Protocol Address, and the IP address represent one string numbers separated by the periods. So the IP tools is an app that provides many utilities in one program and available in mobile devices and also Windows. Alright, so IP tools has many features such as ping that to retrieve the ping data, and also the traceroute, which is to trace the route of the host over the network. Continuing, we are going to see the requirement and installation for this app. So the minimum system requirement for the PC is Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8 and Windows 10. While for the Windows Server, the minimum requirement is Windows Server 2003, 2008, 2012 and 2016. While for the mobile phone, this IP tools app only available in Android but not in iOS. So the minimum for the Android version is 5.0. Alright, next, these IP tools function to configure and diagnostic network, allowing you to identify any problems in computer networks. So these tools also can be used to obtain quickly information about IP addresses, web pages and also DNS record. So how to use the Apple tools? First of all, you need to open the app in your phone and then choose the type of utilities that you want to use, and then just enter the IP address and host name, so the details of the data will appear. Alright, so next, this is just a simple layout in the IP tools. So as you can see, the right side of your screen, you can see the menu interface. And next, this is the interface for the ping program and also the traceroute. Okay, so the relation to our course content, and based on what we have learned in class, there are two different types of IP address, which is first we have Internet Protocol version 4 and also Internet Protocol version 6. The short name is IPv4 and also IPv6. Alright, so IPv4 has a 32-bit address that allows 4 billion addresses. Therefore, IPv4 is the most widely used to connect devices to the internet. But currently, we have IPv6, which is the current version of IP, and IPv6 was upgraded from the IPv4 to hold more addresses, while IPv6 use 8 blocks and 4 hexadecimal digits in the address. Alright, so for tracing progress, it will keep track the journey of the data that comes from the server and receiver. It shows the full part of the data travel. And then for the report that we have done before, the IPv4 info shows the IP address of our device and the router we use and the website as well. Alright, so this IPv4 info shows also network prefix of the address, which is the subnet mask, the status of the connectivity, the continent, country, region of the website we access, and also the map of the zone authority. Okay, so next we are going to see the result and the discussion from our report. Basically we have accessed two different type of website, which is the local and also the international. For the local, we access the Faculty Science of the Computer and Technology in UPM, and for the international website, we access the University of Tokyo. Alright, so for the local website, the IP address is 119.40.116.110, and this IP address is also is basically the same, even though you access with different time of slot. And then the status of this website is reachable, meaning that it can access the website without any problems, while the security threat for this website is none. So this website is protected from any unknown authority. Alright, so next for the international website, the IP address is 210.152.243 and 234. Alright, so the status of this international website is reachable, and it means that the website can access without any problems. But however, the security threat for this international website is highly probability for the host, and this website need to enhance their security website to prevent any unknown authority that can hack the website. And I think that's all from my part, and I will pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Just a moment ago, we heard explanation from all members of our group about all the network tools. Indirectly, this group project has developed cooperation, communication, and research abilities outside of the lecture, as well as other soft skills. Besides, in contrast to 12 AM and 12 PM, the initial hypothesis suggested that 6 PM is the peak hour for accessing the internet. When the data revealed that 12 PM is the peak time, as opposed to 6 PM and 12 AM, the initial hypothesis became less accurate during access to the FSKTM UPM website using PingTools. However, if we access international website using PingTools, when looking at Maxis and DG, the initial hypothesis become a little more true, despite CELCOM still indicating that 12 AM is greater than 12 PM and 6 PM. Next, for the second tool, which is Intrace, when we access FSKTM UPM website, if utilizing the same user or ISP, the route tracing is from Taman Melawati to Serdang, where Serdang is the database for the FSKTM UPM website. When we access an international website, if utilizing the same user or ISP, the route tracing is from Taman Melawati to Kanda in Japan, which is a database for the University of Tokyo website. Other than that, for Currports, both the FSKTM UPM website and the University of Tokyo's international website use the same TCP protocol, but with a different remote address, which the address for FSKTM UPM is 119.40.116.110, while the address of University of Tokyo is 210.152.243.234. Last but not least, for IP tools, the results are the same as Currports. However, this tool is intended to verify the website's DNS or status. It includes a map for zones of authority and a translation of domain name to IP addresses of devices that interact with the internet. Both international and local websites can be accessed and reached based on the results. Comparison can be observed when looking at the security threat of both websites, and there are no security threat detected when accessing FSKTM UPM. Unfortunately, the security threat is high for the host when accessing the University of Tokyo website, and they must enhance their security measures or procedures in order to avoid being hacked by unknown entities or foreign networks. In conclusion, the best ISP or telco to use is CELCOM, because CELCOM contributes the lowest reading in ping compared to Maxis and DG. To be more specific, total execution time, MDEV, and also average execution time for CELCOM are all low, implying that the time required to access both international and local websites is quite quick. Moreover, each website has a different protocol and address, and also its own database. Each route or path of a website is determined by a checkpoint that has been allocated to that website. Lastly, each piece of network tools has a different and distinct function, and each of it is closely interconnected with each other, indicating that the internet network is more than a theory. You can see and refer to the references we have provided after this. Alright, that's all from us. Thank you.